Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He's the John.
She's the enthusiast.
Yes, because it's the holiday week.
Yes, it is.
One of my favorite holidays. Thanksgiving is coming up.
Yes.
And I'm ready to roll.
I am ready to roll as well.
Weren't you telling me about some stretchy pants that you heard about?
Yeah, there's this commercial going around that there's this new type of stretchy pants with this super elastic waistband with like turkeys on for the waistband, so people can use them for Thanksgiving while they're eating, so they don't have to change out of their normal pants, so they can just eat and eat and eat and don't have to worry about switching.
Well, you don't have the embarrassment of unbuttoning the top button and the
letting the stomach hang over the belt line. Hey, you know, it's a great idea. I'm sure they're going to make a lot of money off of it because
thought of that.
People are going to buy it.
Well, because you do want to kind of dress nice when you go when you come to the table.
Exactly.
Go wash your hands, put on something decent.
Right.
But you're in there stuffed in tight.
Oh,
and
it's going to be tough. It is painful. Your lower abdomen is just getting stretched out by the minute.
Oh, it's not good. And it just starts coming up here. That's where you get all that belching.
Oh, man. You got to have plenty of water and some type of, like, something to soothe your throat as you're trying to digest the food. It's Thanksgiving.
Or you can just go lay on the floor, put your feet in the air.
I mean, that also works. Well, again, happy Thanksgiving week. We're really excited. It's the holiday season. A lot of people putting up their Christmas lights and Christmas trees.
Yes.
I know people that are doing that already, which, hey, I don't blame them. It's awesome. Some people are ready for that stuff to already get started. We're ready. I'm pretty ready myself. But we are going to talk about college football today.
It is heating up.
There's really only one game left of the regular season for basically everyone, and then we get straight to championships and postseason play. And so we're going to talk about the college football playoff rankings right now, and we're also going to talk about some of the headlines that have also happened beyond the college football playoff rankings. One of those being the coaching carousel, exactly, and then Baker Mayfield and his status.
Isn't he the front runner for the Heisman?
He is the front runner for the Heisman Trophy right now, and he will most likely win it. His status on his football team as well, and kind of what happened over this last weekend over down the street in Lawrence. There's a lot of headlines that have taken place right now, and we're going to get into them. Let's talk about the coaching carousel, because right now we want to talk about UCLA, who just let go of Jim Mora on Sunday, and we are not surprised by this.
No.
We knew he was on the hot seat to start the season. He really hasn't done anything to elevate that program, but just cause headlines that nobody wants. P. Diddy throwing kettlebells at the weight coach. Celebrities' son, Snoop Dogg's son, really only making it through 2 weeks of the summer workouts.
Super unhappy.
There have been a lot of people that have been unhappy with how he's run the program, and
they're losing. It's one of the premier programs in the country in the Pac-12 conference. A lot of Hall of Famers and All-Americans and NFL players have come through that program. You want your programs to be good. Well, we know Tennessee has let go of Butch Jones. We also know Florida has let go of Jim McElwain. We know Nebraska is trying to do this nicely by letting Mike Riley finish the season. They're claiming they're trying to let him retire. I think that's what you've heard from some of your sources. I'm the word on the street girl, and the word on the street is that he knows he's done, but that Nebraska's going to let him just quit/retire at the end of the season.
Right. So I
think that's a mistake, by the way.
I also think it's a mistake.
I do, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to let somebody just retire, it implies that you're happy with what they've done and you're letting them leave on their terms.
Right.
Nebraska needs to make a statement that this type of performance is unacceptable.
Yes.
You are fired.
Yes.
If you can't perform, you don't just get to retire. You're fired. You're not meeting our standards.
Exactly.
All right. See, I'll go on a rant.
Well,
I'm just going to leave it at that.
That is exactly what needs to be said, and I want Nebraska to just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off instead of dragging this on. But I guess he only has one more game. That's this next week.
You're going to end up 4-8.
You're in, so
there you go.
Whatever. At the end of the year, he's gone. Now there are a lot of people interested in Scott Frost. Scott Frost, we all know, is a great Nebraska Cornhusker.
He was a quarterback. He was
national championship run in '97. We all know his resume as a coach is really strong. He was a GA for K-State for a couple years. He was the OC
for Oregon.
During all their huge runs.
Just knows all the ins and outs when it comes to this day and age offense, with a lot of the kids that run the spread out of high school and the different types of quarterbacks.
My brother Matt, your Uncle Matt, played on that Nebraska team with Scott Frost.
Correct.
Knows him.
Yes.
He's the guy that everybody wants.
Yep.
But the problem is, even though he is a Nebraska alum, the Florida coaching gig is open. Tennessee is also open. Now UCLA is open.
Yes,
and
exactly.
so UCLA has the Pac-12 connection. Florida is right there. He's at UCF.
Correct.
And then Tennessee is like, well, we're Tennessee. Oh, nobody cares about you, Tennessee. I hate to tell you. But point is, he's a hot ticket right now.
Correct, he is. And a lot
of the A&M gig is probably going to come open.
Still very open at this point in time as far as we don't know.
I don't want to see Kevin Sumlin fired,
Neither
but
do I,
they were hot on his
heels.
But
he's been on the hot seat this year. And again, Brian Kelly, we talked about at Notre Dame, has been on the hot seat this year. I think probably saved his job for helping them get back to decent status, but you still never know. But at the end of the day, the UCLA job is open, the Tennessee job is open, the Florida job is open, and we know the Nebraska job will be open. 4 premier elite football programs in this country are going to be open, and Scott Frost is the hot ticket. He has his team undefeated, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll talk about him a little bit later on in the thing, too. And let me just say this real quick about Jim Moyer. I'm so happy he's gone. You should never celebrate someone losing their job because that's a tragedy. But the first time, his first year, I think it was at UCLA, first or second year, they played K-State in a bowl game, and they were trying to do the victory formation. And the K-State guys were, trying to get the ball back, so they rushed his guys a little bit. You could call that poor sportsmanship, whatever. At the end of the game, Hall of Famer, gentleman Bill Snyder walks across the field with his hand out, and Jim Mora yells something in his face and walks off and wouldn't shake Bill Snyder's hand. His athletic director at UCLA had to make him go back and find Coach Snyder. And then when he was asked about it later, he goes, I thought his kids were cheap and blah, blah, blah. You shake hands and walk off the field. I've been waiting for him to get fired ever since that day.
A lot of people have been.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, he's now done, and the UCLA job is open.
I'm petty like that. I really am.
Hey, it is what it is. Well, let's talk about Baker Mayfield a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
He is a senior at OU. This is a kid that
Oklahoma
you just love his story. He was a walk-on at Texas Tech, decided to walk on. He transferred, didn't like what was going on there, transferred and walked on at OU. So he's a 2-time walk-on. Obviously, he earned his scholarship at Oklahoma, but he earned the starting quarterback position and has really kind of resurrected OU as a football program. Really with all the stuff that was going on with Bob Stoops, nobody really knows why he decided to just retire before the season kicked off. He just claims that he was ready to walk away. But Baker Mayfield has really kept that team afloat and kept them playing at a high level. Now, Lincoln Riley's a young coach. He knows offense. He's kind of like the coach for the Los Angeles Rams and Jared Goff. They have a really good rapport, so they work well together. But Baker Mayfield was in town. The Oklahoma Sooners were in town last weekend
in our town
in Lawrence, and playing KU. Now, granted, KU is 1-9, so we're just to put things in perspective. OU has 1 loss, KU has 9 losses.
OU has 1 loss, KU has 1 win.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. So there's the records are literally flipped, and they're meeting at the 50-yard line for the coin toss, and the KU players decide not to shake Baker Mayfield's hands. Now, his hand. There are a lot of people that don't like Baker Mayfield, that think he's a little bit of a loose cannon, whatever. I happen to like the guy. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's got swagger. He's a leader. People want to play with him. But for whatever reason, KU thought they were going to be macho and not shake his hand. And so Baker was not happy about that. So he went and laid the wood down on him and was doing some gestures.
He was caught by the camera taunting KU on the sideline.
He was doing some things.
People called obscene and inappropriate gesturing and
cursing at them
and things like that
some
from the sideline.
Gestures that weren't favorable by the university.
Behavior that's unbecoming of a front runner for the Heisman and a captain and quarterback of Oklahoma. So his punishment is that for his last game, his senior game, he's not going to be a captain and he doesn't get to start.
Right.
Now, the lack of starting, they're going to let somebody else go in there, take one snap, and then send Baker in.
Correct.
It's more ceremonial than it is anything else.
Absolutely.
My question to you is, do you agree with this or not?
I don't agree with this. I think you just said petty. I think it's petty. I don't understand why you would do this to a guy that has made a ton of money for your school. He's going to bring you a Heisman Trophy back to OU, just like Sam Bradford did. This is a guy that everyone wants to watch when it comes to the college games. And I think he deserves to be able to start and play this game fully and not get anything stripped from him. I think it's wrong. What about you?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, Baker Mayfield is this guy. And let's start with KU provoked him.
Correct.
Now, look, you don't have to be Donald Trump. Every time somebody does something to you, you don't have to respond.
Right.
You don't have to respond. But at the end of the day, he goes out there in good faith as a captain, do the coin flip and try to shake hands, and someone disrespected him. So he whooped him up on the field and gave him the read between the lines on the sideline. And I think what they should have done is made him apologize and then move on. But he's not going to be a captain for his team for the last game, and he doesn't get to start for senior night. I think that's an overreaction.
It is.
And I think they could just let him. But you know what? He also planted the, Ohio State flag. He's already had to do his public apology, so this time they're like, we're going to slap you a little bit. I think you could have let it go, to be honest with the OU. But at the end of the day, Baker, the best revenge is looking good.
Hey.
And just come out.
I hope
he,
thing, man. Torches it up and has a great game. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan.
You have been on Baker for a couple of years, actually. So.
He is well deserving of the Heisman. I would love to see him win it and go out on top. So that's kind of the Baker Mayfield stuff. Hey, everyone's a competitor and everyone wants to win. So when you feel like you've been disrespected, you're going to feel a certain way.
You don't want to disrespect a football player.
That's
just a general rule.
Exactly.
My dad was a football player. My uncles, my brothers, my sons. I live with a couple. You don't want to disrespect football players. It's a general rule.
No, you don't.
Jim Moyer got fired because he was disrespectful. All right, well, let's move on to the college football playoffs because this is some drama, I think.
Well, honestly, it is. There is drama, but I don't think there's that much to be said because nothing really happened throughout this week. Nobody lost. Now, this upcoming weekend, we will see some big-time games that will heavily impact the college football playoff rankings. But there is some pettiness, as that kind of tends to be.
Well, let me list them off. You have Alabama at number 1. The big shocker was that the committee put Clemson at number 2, jumping over undefeated Miami at number 3 and Oklahoma at 4. And then you've got undefeated Wisconsin sitting at 5 and Auburn sitting at 6. The big drama here is UCF, what you've been talking about, Scott Frost team, Central Florida, is undefeated coming out of the AAC, and they're ranked at like number 15, 14 or 15, which means the committee is not giving them any shot whatsoever to be in the Final Four.
Correct.
Which is the problem.
Right.
And we've talked about this before. If you expand to 8 teams, you can reserve that 8th spot.
Right.
You can call them the bottom spot if you want to for an undefeated group of 5 team, which in this year, UCF would fit that slot completely.
Yep.
But that being said, Bama played nobody. They played Mercer.
Yep.
Clemson played the Citadel.
Yep, exactly.
So I just feel like we'll see some changes because Miami has Auburn coming up next, and we know for sure Clemson isn't the Iron Bowl.
Alabama's got Auburn. Yes, exactly.
But then, and in the ACC championship, Miami and Clemson are going to meet.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to fix itself too.
Exactly.
That's going to fix
itself.
There's
a lot to still be had towards the end of the season.
And you know what? I always root for K-State in the Big 12, but at this point, I want Oklahoma to run through.
Yep.
Because we got to have a Big 12 team in that Final Four playoff this year.
I totally agree. Well, there's a lot to be had still, and we're just really excited because it's the best time of year.
You get to eat turkey and watch football. The pros, college, it's going to be a great weekend.
It's awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait to eat and watch football all day. Exactly. Well, we want to say we appreciate your time, folks. Continue to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, type in my name, Adam Orduna, and like our Facebook page, type in OTD. We want to say we appreciate your time, and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching.